All right, another PoE video here. So, I have been playing Blade Vortex, and I've gotten a lot of comments about what build are you playing, how can I play this build, and everything like that. So, I just want to make sure everybody knows this. I'm not a build guide player. I don't claim to be a knowledgeable PoE player. I just like PoE. So this is going to be more of an overview and not a guide. Because I don't really know how to set up a guide. If you guys want me to, I can attempt to. It's gonna be a little scuffed, but basically I'm just gonna take you for a little tour of my character and tell you what I'm running, and then yeah, shit like that. So we arrive at POEninja to give you a baseline overview. The notable things is it's telling me I have 25 million DPS. That's more than enough for me. I can kill pretty much anything with it. If you've been paying attention to my Blight videos, it's insanely good at Blight. So good. So good. One-shotting Blight Ravage bosses. Just crazy efficient. So I'm just going to go through each one of these things and point out what I wish I knew a little bit sooner. We're running a bow and a quiver. And our bow has a very particular item in it that I looked over and was not thinking about it. And that's the Empower. You need to get the level 4 Empower. Essentially how this build works is it stacks power charges. So as many power charges as you can get, as much spell damage as you can get, or crit multi that you can get. And in general, as many levels on Blade Vortex as possible. So for the bow, it's a very simple assassin bow. Just a bunch of crit multi on it, +1 to socketed gems. You can pick this up for about 10 div is what I got it for. It might be even cheaper because I've had this for like a couple months now, you know, or I feel like a couple months now. So it may be really cheap. One of the reasons that I did this character, this is my second character. And usually throughout a league, I'll go through 1 to 3 characters max. I like to sit on my characters. I don't play a lot of different characters. I enjoy just min-maxing one character over the league slowly but surely, right? I don't claim to be like I'm not doing a 6-man party like right day 1 league. I'm fucking selling everything, I'm getting mirrors, I don't claim to do any of that. I just play the game and enjoy myself pretty much. And I do most everything solo. So spell crit bow with a lot of gems, and the Empower is very important that you get it corrupted to level 4 so you can get +3 levels, and your Vortex should be around level 30 to 33. I say 33 is because you can get that replica amulet. I can't think of the name. It'll be on the screen though, which will give you +3 to all Blade Vortex gems. It's way cheaper than Ashes of the Stars, but at some point you're going to run into mana problems, and specifically figuring out how the hell am I supposed to fucking put all of these auras and all of these heralds without getting blocked. That's the hard part, and that's why you'll eventually want to run Ashes of Stars. But if you don't, you'll save a lot of money. If you can fit your reservation somewhere else, you'll save a lot of money. Okay, moving on to the quiver. All you really need is crit multi, a little bit of life, maybe some resistances, and the triple fizz conversion. That's what you're looking for. Nothing too crazy. Little crit chance and LE damage craft on it. I have a T1, T2 mod. That's why I only have 7% of fizz damage as extra cold. But I figured it was worth it because I could get crit multi. I landed crit multi on this, right? So I figured it was worth it instead of grabbing no crit multi but having double T1. For now, I'm not saying I have the perfect build, I definitely don't have the perfect build. I'm just showcasing my build because everybody was talking about it. So after that, your first big purchase probably is going to be your Heat Shiver. Specifically your Blade Vortex duration. That's your first step. And then getting a corrupted version with +1 to max power charges, which is going to set you back quite a lot at first. But this is 100% needed. You need power charges anywhere you can fit them, and that's going to be on your helmets and on your rings. And getting it on your rings are going to be probably about 10 times as expensive. So focus on the heat shiver first, and that blade vortex duration is going to make your game feel so much better. So definitely, if you're looking like, oh shit, I don't know what to get, which piece should I get the heat shiver with maximum power charges and duration. After that, we're going to look at our ring, which is the Circle of Guilt. Now, I have my eyes on getting an implicit crit multi ring, or no, not a crit multi, implicit power charge ring. Very expensive right now, and I don't know if I need it right now. I don't know. I'm wondering if I should get that or not. More damage is good, but I'm kind of one-shotting everything anyways. But anyways, we'll talk about what we need it for. The 2 mods, Herald of Purity has increased buff effect and increased fizz damage while affected by Herald of Purity. This is probably the better version, the increased fizz damage while affected, just because more fizz damage is better. As much fizz damage as you can fit on this build, it's going to convert that all to cold damage, and you're going to just be popping. The next step would be to get your chest piece. This is not a good chest piece. This is still a budget chest piece. I could make this chest piece so much better, but again, I just don't really care about it too much. You can get spell crit on this, as well as more area damage, which will be even better, but the main thing that you get for this is the increased effect of non-curse auras, because you're running a lot of auras, and it's a very good buff. And on top of that, you get a little explodey chest, right? You want to pop things. That's one of the reasons I fucking love this build, is just because of the Herald pops. They just feel really, really nice. And yeah, so you wanna grab one of these. Now I'll showcase my ring, but this is when I start to veer off of the meta and like the heavy, like the crazy damage guys on POEninja. Dude, I can't fit my defenses anywhere. It's to the point that I might just go and get a Mage Blood. I kind of enjoy the Headhunter more, but I am thinking about just getting a Mage Blood to fix all my Ellie like res issues. Because if I go to defense here, and you can see my reses, as soon as I take this ring off, it goes 66, 28, negative 23%. It's not good. So that's why I have this ring, basically just stacking all reses. It does nothing else. Ideally, you would want a crit multi ring, like a crit multi implicit ring, if not a power charge implicit ring. But if you can get a crit multi one and then add more crit multi to it, you'll get even more damage out of it. So if you can afford that, I would do that. But I will say, attributes is a real problem with this build. You're gonna have to stack it, and this is where my belt comes into play, my boots come into play, and the gloves come into play. Like I was saying, where we're doing 100% conversion of cold damage. Well, part of it we get from the tree, and then part of it we get from the gloves. So this implicit 35% fizz damage converted to cold, on top of the crafted implicit 25% fizz damage converted to cold, and paired that with this node, Cold Mastery, 40% of fizz converted to cold gives us our 100%. And basically, that's why we're stacking so much fizz, right? We're converting it all to cold damage. And you'll see that these gloves aren't really good otherwise, right? They have the implicit, they have the crafted mod, and then everything else is kind of whatever. I crafted these gloves because I needed to specifically find attribute gloves and these mods, and I couldn't find them, so I just crafted my own. I'm not a crafter. I just like to loot and scoot, you know? That's all I really want to do. I never want to craft, really. So I made this as a, like, hey, fuck it, like, seems good to me. So far it's working, you know? I have a lot of improvements that I can do with my build, but I just wanted to showcase because of all the comments, of course. With the Headhunter, it's given me a ton of strength and a ton of dex. And then even my boots have a little bit of dex and int on them as well. Because if you don't have any attributes, you're very attribute starved. Like, look at this. My headhunter is literally the only thing that makes my build work. You slap that on and you're good to go. Yeah, okay, so the headhunter, that's self-explanatory. If you don't have a headhunter, just run a Stygian Vise and get you like a crit multi or a crit chance or maybe some increased cold damage, you know, like something like that. Get you one of those Abyss Jewels, slap it on there with a nice healthy like attribute and max life and some reses. That's all you really need. For the boots, very simple. I just look for two things, which is Tailwind and Onslaught, and that's it. Anything else, just nice. You can make these boots, again, way better, but I don't really care for it. Remember to look at my POB because there's going to be levels to each of these gems, and you want to make sure that you're hitting each of these levels. Like the Enlighten 4 is extremely needed. Some other things are extremely needed, but that showcases the items that I'm running. I'm going to show you how the build kind of comes together from the tree. So in the tree, you'll see that we're kind of just racing to the top and going to both sides, specifically to get power charges here and here and here, right? And then even more power charges as we go. So the main thing that I want to tell you is survivability with this build fucking sucks, but it can be better. Specifically with these two jewels, the Immutable Force gives a stun and block recovery, and Blood Notch. Blood Notch, basically we get life from stunning hits. And how this works is we pair it up with this Energy Shield Mastery. Stun threshold is based on 60% of your energy shield instead of life, essentially letting us proc more, and that's why we're running that. And that's gonna help your survival so much more. I felt like I was really hard stuck at like 94, 95 for a while, and I just couldn't really keep doing juiced maps. Like I could have leveled if I stayed safe, but I was trying to do juiced maps, right? So I wanted to do it, so I kept dying until I got these jewels, and they helped me immediately. This little combo, this tree on top of the two armor jewels. After that, your really big purchase for this build is probably going to be your Forbidden Flesh and Forbidden Flame jewels. You need Heart of Destruction. You get basically 60% more AoE with it. It's incredibly good. It gives us the big ass ring that we have, and you know, just all of our AoE is just massive. So that's what that does. That's gonna set you back probably 60 to like 100 div ish. I don't know. They fluctuate bad. Like they're either really cheap or really expensive. But when I say really cheap, I mean really cheap for very expensive. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? So that's going to be probably your big one, but you're going to get a lot of value out of it. It's very good. Basically, it allows you to hit more enemies before they can hit you. This is a glass cannon build, and we need that. And overall, we're just stacking as much damage as possible. We also go low life, right? With determination and whatever this thing's called. Arrogance support. Herald of Purity and Vitality combo. This will bring us down so we can get low life and get Pain Attunement, basically giving 30% more spell damage. Super nice. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. We're just going for crit, crit multi, and spell damage, and reservation anywhere we can fit, and a tiny little bit of HP. That's it. That's all we're really doing. Things that are notable here is the Unnatural Instinct to grab a lot of jewels or a lot of passives that you wouldn't normally be able to get to. A little trick with this is you can actually unallocate some of your points and then allocate like a couple of these, put tattoos in them, and then unallocate them again, refund all of it, and then sit your jewel in like normal, and it will count those tattoos as your passive, so it's pretty nice. Or as far as I'm understanding, I haven't done it because I don't really need to, but yeah. And that'll bring us to the tattoo portion of the build. Tattoos are incredibly good this league. If you're not using tattoos, you're really missing out on a lot of extra damage and a lot of free like utility or whatever. And for this build, we're attribute starved and we're mana starved like all the time. If I have all of my auras on and I have everything on, I have 52 mana and I'm barely scraping by being able to throw out my blades one by one. But once I ramp up, it doesn't really matter though. So all I'm looking for is to get it online really. Going back, this is a good example of why I'm showing off these tattoos. The Hatungo, honor tattoo of the Hatungo. Is that it? I don't know. Anyways, yeah, so increased reservation efficiency of skills. This allows us paired up with a couple things. This tattoo paired with this small cluster jewel and paired with the Enlightened level 4, we're barely able to hit all of our auras and all of our skills here. Barely, but it gives us. So if I hover over the cluster, you'll see I have a pretty nice one. It gives me 4 to all LE res, 5% increased damage, and 4 to all ats with a 35% increased effect. Super nice jewel. I think I got a steal on it, to be honest. But the main thing that you want to look for is the 6% increased mana reservation, because with the 35% increased effect, you get an 8% increased mana reservation, and you want to hit a cluster jewel that has 3 passive skills with this. Very important, because you're leaving a lot on the table when you just hit the 2. It's gonna be way cheaper at 2, and if it works for you at 2, then go for it. But just know you'll get a lot from having that 8% more mana reservation. So yeah, I just spam these tattoos. I spam all of these tattoos. There's a couple other tattoos that you can use. Skill duration, because Blade Vortex feels like you're constantly hitting that button to keep them up, right? Blade skill duration is a big one. I think I have maybe 1 or 2. I ended up taking a lot of them off just so I could fit some other stuff. But here's my skill effect durations over here. But yeah, you can also run Herald. Herald buffs have an increased effect tattoo, whatever that tattoo is. I see a lot of people running it, but for the most part, I just spam the efficiency of skills, because your number one problem is going to be mana efficiency. Yeah, so that's probably going to be your biggest hurdle that you kind of have to jump over. Anything else? Let's pass over the cluster jewels. Our large cluster jewels, I'm running Iron Breaker with Battle Hardened, just for increased fizz damage. We want as much fizz damage because it gets converted to cold. I'm running double Vast Power and Towering Threat for area damage. Just a ton of AoE here. Super nice. And then on my other jewels, I'm running Empowered and Envoy and Purposeful Harbinger. And for this large cluster, we're running Doriani's Lesson and Cold to the Core. A better version, instead of Cold to the Core, you could get a Blanketed Snow. Better and way more expensive. I just haven't picked it up yet. I probably should. But yeah, so that is pretty much the tree. You saw the build guide and pretty much the overview. I'm running Taste of Hate, this Diamond Flask for armor, a crit flask, as well as just a regular speed flask, and an HP pot with corrupted blood. So I think that covers everything but this jewel I forgot to mention. Boom. The jewel. Do you want anything that will help you with hatred? There's some cheaper options. This one wasn't so cheap. I think I picked this one up for 30 div. Super nice though for my build, because I figured determination, I want more armor, right? We're stacking armor with our jewels here, and the more armor, the better gamer I am. So I just try to get as much as possible, really. And so yeah, I can improve the quiver, I can improve the gloves, I can improve so much the rings. I think that's one of the reasons I'm still loving this build is because there's a lot of upgrades to get it online and really going, and it feels like the upgrades are really important. My first build was for this league was tornado shot. It was lightning arrow into tornado shot, and you know, like I just thought it was gonna be better. Like everybody rants and raves about tornado shot. I just wasn't a big fan of it. I don't know. I felt like Ellie hit was, it felt better with Ellie hit, honestly, and lightning arrow kind of felt better than tornado shot. Maybe I'm just a hater. I don't know. I just as soon as I was having trouble with blight as a tornado shot user, and the second that I just swapped and sold everything that I had, at this point in the league I only had about like 50 to 60 divines, and I just sold it as much as I could from that character, made this character, and I was instantly able to do blight ravaged at like, you know, max quant. It didn't really matter the map mods and everything like that. It was a night and day difference. So I really enjoy this. If you like a very satisfying mapper in terms of like all the pops and stuff that you can do, you'll really like this build. Just wanted to showcase it because a lot of people were commenting about it, and yeah, hopefully this gives a brief description of it. If you guys want a guide, you can hit me up for one. I'll attempt to make one. You know, I'm kind of new at the PoE content creation. I'm trying my best, but yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks for 200 subs, by the way. That's fucking sick. You guys are crazy. Join the Discord if you want to hang out and just talk some shit to about PoE with me. That's what I love doing. And yeah, hit me up on the streams or some shit. All right, I'll catch you guys later. All right, peace.